second Ghana National Sea Turtle Conference, which took place on the 29th and 30th of August 2023, was aimed at achieving a few things, among which is to initiate dialogue between the key stakeholders that are working to protect sea turtles in Ghana. This conference is much needed because of the fact that there is no unison between the projects that are working along the coast of Ghana. Although these projects that seemingly want to protect sea turtles are doing their best, there is that issue of the robustness of the data they are collecting, whether the data fits perfect scientific protocols, or whether they are comparable along the various beaches where sea turtles occur. And all these we found were issues. And so we needed to create a platform where these projects could talk among themselves and come up with unified protocols that works for both the parties and also for the sea turtles that we want to protect.
Has been an experience in my life, and then it's quite outrageous when I heard a lot of things about turtles and then the roles they play in the fishing industry. Because of ignorance, most of our fishers, or let's say the fisher folks, do kill them, feed on them, and then I feel quite remorse about what has transpired, looking at what turtles are doing to increase the fish stock in our waters.
Discussion, we talked about data sharing. This is where people can actually see the essence to bring their data without owning them. Because there is a government body that will help us get the data that we want to actually steer the whole affairs as far as the conservation is concerned. And to conserve something, you need data. Just as
So if we are educating people, the first to consider is speak in the people's local language, or the language that they understand. So if that is done, then you are in the headway to get a favorable response to whatever message you are sending to them. And secondly, if you cannot speak in the local language, then get somebody who is an indigene to do the communication and translation for you to get your message across.
Without law enforcement, then education will be in vain. So it's high time government and other organizations to provide the necessary equipment, the vehicles, and all that they need to carry out their law enforcement duties effectively. And we also believe that the illegal activities is at its peak season during the nesting season. So once you're able to provide these resources for the law enforcers and the wildlife division, they'll be able to carry out effective patrol of the nesting sites so that they will deter people who harm these sea turtles.
The goals should be specific, the goals should be measurable, the goals should be achievable, the goals should be realistic or relevant, and the goals should be time bound. Once the goal is put in this way, it makes things very easy for you. And then once you enter the community, you should know that you are a lone ranger when you are entering a community. So you should have some kind of security around you. So first you contact the police for them to know that you are around and you are doing A, B, C, D. You want to protect turtles. You want to make sure that activities that are done against them that are wrong are not done. And then the community leader will also be aware that you are there and you are doing certain activities. Once you have given them that recognition, when you are done with everything, don't vanish into thin air.
It's a day that every media outlet must hear about sea turtles. Every organization will be advertising on sea turtles. We have the international one, but in Ghana, we believe that our challenges might slightly differ. And we believe that we can also do a bit more than what the international world are doing.
My experience so far
for this second Ghana National Turtle Conference has been one of a fruitful one, because today being my first encounter or my first experience for this year Turtle Conference. And I've learned a lot, and as Doctor said, all we need is for us to come on board. Since sea turtle conservation in Ghana is a nationwide effort, I think we, all the organizations and the partners, we have to come together to devise a common strategy in our effort in saving sea turtles in Ghana.
Climate change over the years has become a major environmental problem, causing increasing temperature, thereby affecting the nesting process and hatchlings of sea turtles. After data was collected and evaluated, the study showed that the nesting temperatures were all above the pivotal temperature, and also the sex ratio of hatchling during the nesting season was female biased. Lastly, the morphology of sea turtles were affected by temperature, causing deformities to some of the hatchlings.
At this conference has been quite insightful and educative to me, in the sense that I have learned a lot about sea turtles that I didn't know before. I've learned that in order to identify a sea turtle, you can identify it by counting the scutes on its carapace. You can also take notice of its tracks that it makes. So in all, I've learned a lot about sea turtles, and I now know that sea turtles are very important to the ocean and to the whole world.